Welcome everyone to the very first GSR race preview of the new season. I'm Soren and joining me today is Ade as we break down all the key storylines ahead of the big one, the GSR Season 15 opener at the iconic Albert Park circuit in Australia.
Hello everyone, that is absolutely right. We're finally back for the start of another GSR season. The drivers are now all locked into their tiers. The teams have been set, and it'll be interesting to see how they get on then as we head to the iconic Albert Park circuit on Wednesday to begin the season.
Yeah, and speaking of the season, I think this is gonna be a very memorable season that's going ahead of us, that's laying ahead of us, season 15. And yeah, I mean, just looking at the grid, it's so competitive this year. We've got a thrilling team selection event that we just had behind us now. And yeah, like I said, the lineups are locked in. And yeah, I think we got some very incredible pairings ahead of us. And I think we should just dive in already then into our team pairings, shall we?
Yes, so we'll start off with McLaren. Abubakar Hoshiana, he's a brand new driver, so we're not entirely sure how he's going to get on yet. And alongside him is HST Alfie, a guy who was very, very quick last season, one of the only few drivers who challenged our champion last season. We'll go into him a little bit later. Then we have Ferrari, J.A. Holly SV5. We don't know how he's going to be yet because he's another rookie. But then alongside him, you've got yours truly, myself. I am very excited to be back in Ferrari for the first time since season 5, and I'm looking forward to the challenge ahead. Didn't have the best season last time out with only one podium, but I will just have to see how I get on. Maybe we'll just see how it goes. And then we have Red Bull with Osimhen. He only did Brazil, so we're not entirely sure how he's going to get on. But he did look very quick. I think he got P5 in that race. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. And then we have his teammate Dolly 67, again a brand new driver. So no idea how he's going to get on. Then we have the second of the admins, Liverpool 6032, also known as Jonas. He's pretty quick. He only did one race in GSR last season, but he has assured us he will be able to do more than one this time and help Mercedes out. And then we have another returning driver from last season in the form of Souls. Souls put on some noteworthy performances, perhaps maybe for not all the right reasons. Cough cough Abu Dhabi, but he's got pace, and he's learned from his mistakes, and he is going to be back in the Mercedes. And then Aston Martin, we have a newbie, Uanian. He joined last minute, so I have no idea how he's going to be. And then we have one of the GSR veterans, JB Jimbo 22, the season 8 tier 2 champion. He's retaining his tier 1 seat this time out. He put on some great performances, kept challenging. I had some great battles with him last season, so I'm looking forward to those continuing. So then we have Alpine, arguably the strongest lineup of all, with two incredibly quick guys. First up, we have XD Joseph, a guy who raced last season. He was incredibly quick, consistently challenging for wins. And then, of course, we have the reigning champion, AART Vapor, of true GSR veteran. Now a record equaling 3-time GSR champion, 2 in tier 1 and 1 in tier 2. So expect great things from him. Expect him to challenge for the title once again. But he is so confident that he's going to be starting from the back every single time. So it'll be so watch out for him on the feed as he makes his way through the grid, and then we have Haas, Tharlo, again an incredibly quick driver, once again arguably in the top 4 once again this season, again should be fighting for wins. It's going to be very hotly contested at the front with the likes of, well, hopefully myself, Jonas, Joseph, Vapor, Tharlo, Lazar. Yes, it will be very, very hotly contested. Then we have a newcomer, Nth Hitman. He, I think he might have done Brazil as well. Actually,
yeah, he raced in Brazil as well. Yeah, that's
yeah, and he had a very impressive performance until he unfortunately, I think, crashed. But
yeah, he DNF'd in the end, but started from P2.
Yeah, and if he can clear up those inconsistencies, watch out for him as a potential championship contender as well. And then we move on to VCarb. So we have Xavier 120 Hertz, newcomer. Again, no idea how he's going to get on. But then we have another. Then we have Vapor's arch rival, Lazar. He well, they're great friends in real life. but Lazar once again was very quick, very consistent as well last season. So expect to watch out for him as to be a championship contender. And then finally for Williams and Sauber, they only have one driver. Call Me Uncle is in Williams, again a brand new driver, and the same goes with Nick in the Sauber. And then we have our 3 reserves: a Speed Demon, Overdrive, and Pellegro Jr.
What I really like about this tier is, maybe despite or except Alpine, which obviously has a strong lineup, we do got a very mixed teams here actually. Like we have all those great drivers from last season that were fighting for the title. For example, they are all in different teams, so they are all fighting against each other. So even though Alpine is a very strong contender for the constructors title here, we don't have that clear team that is definitely going to win it. Alpine are the favorites, I would say also, but it's not like clear already to us that they are going to win it. For example, if Joseph would be switched with Lazar, so if Lazar and Vapor would be on Alpine, I would say they definitely gonna win it. But the way it is, it's quite spread. I really like that. Yeah, very much looking forward to Racing Bulls, what they can do. Maybe, obviously, Xavier, like I said, newcomer, is gonna be, a big, kind of like a surprise to see how he will do. Same with you and your teammate Holiday and Ferrari, I would say. I wouldn't count you out yet, but it's gonna be very interesting. And then also, the big outliner, Speed Demon, not racing as an active driver this season, but I wouldn't count him out either. He's still a reserve. Let's see how many times he can do. And I'd say if the season goes the right way for him, he could even have a chance at the title, even though he doesn't have a full-time seat and might not be racing every race. So, let's see what he can do then.
Yeah, he could do, because he was incredibly quick last season. He's incredibly quick in ETSR, so it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. Don't count out any of the reserves as well, because there's always a chance that they thought they could do more races than they thought they could, and perhaps they'll get promoted to the available seats in Williams or Kick Sauber. There's nothing stopping them from doing that, and we can already tell you guys we have a bunch of drivers that'll be coming in for Bahrain as well, which is round 2, but we'll get onto the calendar after we do tier 2. But it's going to be very hotly contested in tier 1, and I am very excited to bring on the challenge, because last season it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And tier 1 obviously being the tier where we got a defending champion then in form of Vapor. So that makes it even more interesting, since we got the history basically continuing on, other than in tier 2, which we obviously didn't have last year season. But we do have tier 1 then back for this season. And this is a little bit more... No, I wouldn't even say it's a little bit more interesting, but it's you can't predict it even you can't predict it even more, or I don't know if that's correct,
Something
but
like
it's more difficult to predict this. Okay, let's phrase it like this, because here we got a lot of new drivers coming into GSR. We got a couple of returning drivers, a couple of drivers that raced last season or in any of our previous seasons. But yeah, like I said, we got a lot of drivers that make their debut here in this tier, and let's go through them, shall we? We have in McLaren, starting off with a newcomer team, basically. We got Odin and Walters, both driving for the team from Woking. Already 2 newcomers to GSR then, so already one big question mark here for the team. We don't know how they will be doing in the season then, if they have good race pace or maybe good quali pace. We had a lot of drivers that had good quali pace, got a lot of poles, but tend to do not so well in the race. Let's see if any one of them is like this. But yeah, for now we're gonna be very excited for their debut in McLaren. In Ferrari then we got Hippolyto, also one of the debutants here, and Quick. He is the first one of the returning drivers then. He will be starting in tier 2 this season. So we can expect a little bit from Quick then. He showed good spirit in tier 1 last season. He had some decent pace, had a little bit of tough luck in that season. But yeah, maybe he can have his revenge arc here in tier 2 then for GSR season 15. On his side then Hippolyto, again, gonna be interesting to follow his career then here in tier 2 and how he will do. And you want to say something to
I just wanted to point out Ferrari is by far the strongest lineup on paper in tier 2, because Hippolyto and Bitfit were both, I think, in the top 3 on their on their time trials for tier 2. So yeah, so that is going to be an extremely strong lineup, especially as Quick. He's got some great pace in ETSI. He even kept up with me in some races in GSR Tier 1 last season. So look out for both of them, because that is going to be a titanic lineup.
Yeah, all right, then we're definitely gonna keep an eye out for Ferrari, as they seem to be the favorites heading into the season. Red Bull then with Mr. Riley and Miranda, also I think both debutants, not raced in GSR before. So again, just like McLaren, gonna be very interesting to see. I think that's kind of what makes this tier so interesting, is that you got all those drivers and that you don't know how good they're gonna be, you don't know how fast they're gonna be. So that I think makes it very interesting, because I think maybe not the driver's title or the constructor's title, but behind that, like the positions behind the top 5 drivers, let's say, and probably the position behind Ferrari and the constructors. I think this is gonna be a very interesting season with a lot of changes per race, and a lot of things that be mixed up and stuff like that. I think that's gonna be very interesting. And Mercedes then with Lama Juju and Kleine Pro. Again, the same thing. Also 2 newcomers to the league, so gonna be very interesting to see them on track for the first time.
Just sort of point out, there's a couple of spelling mistakes on here, because Miranda should be R Miranda. It should have an R on the front of it, and that L on it's meant to be an I on it's meant to be I am Majunu.
Oh my god. Jesus. Okay.
So
okay, we will correct that then for the first race of the season, obviously. But okay, good to know. Okay, now head on to one of the more interesting teams, I would say, except from Ferrari, maybe Aston Martin, which has the lineup of Milevicek, I think, Polish name, Polish driver.
I just pronounce it as Marwacek, but yeah.
I think that would be even more difficult for me to pronounce, to be honest. Yeah, so the Polish driver will be sharing the team with Ada. And not if he Polish as well? I'm not sure right now.
No, he's Dutch, I believe.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, so definitely one of the more interesting teams as well. Because both drivers we saw in the past are quick. Ada will be, I think, one of the most interesting drivers overall because he is... he was racing on wheel before where he was very quick, and now he's switching onto controller. So yeah, that's gonna be very interesting to see how quick he will be at the first race of the season and also at the end of the season. I think he can really much improve over the course of the season. Heading on to Alpine then, we got Pavel returning to GSR now in Tier 2 as well. Alongside him will be Motion God, also a rookie in GSR here. So yeah, gonna be very interesting to see. We don't know how fast those rookies will be. I wanted to say that Pavel might have the upper hand here, but yeah, obviously we don't know how good Motion God is gonna be. But Pavel had also some good decent pace in the last season. If he can repeat that going into season 50 now here in Tier 2, I think he can have a shot at the title as well. So yeah, let's see what he can do then in the Alpine. Then for Haas, we got OG Kush and Lenko, I would say. F1 HL Lenko. Again, another rookie team for the American team also. Again, very curious how those two will how those two will tend to do in the races. And yeah, Racing Bulls then has Infinity 2000 and one other admin of the admin team, Callum. So yeah, also good lineup there for the Racing Bull team. Might not be quick enough for some race wins. I do reckon those two can be quick enough for some surprise podiums every now and then.
I might say it's quick enough. It's definitely quick enough for the win. I think he's on about pace with Vic. So
so then he's the other one in the top 3 then, basically.
Is he fourth? I can't remember, but he was. I can't remember fully who was. It might be a good idea to get up the.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, maybe then Callum for some wins every here and there. Yeah. But okay. Let's see. So as a team overall, I think they won't be quick enough though. Maybe for the title. But let's see. I'm happy to be. What's it called?
Happy to be wrong.
Yeah, I'm happy to be wrong. And yeah, let's see how those two then can compete in this season. And yeah, finally then off to Williams and Sauber then, just like in Tier 1, also only one driver for now. But yeah, that pretty much will be changing over the course of the season. For Williams then, we got Abra, also one of our admins then. Yeah, let's see, he had a tough season last year. So he may be doing a little bit better here in Tier 2. Might also be able to challenge for a couple of podiums, maybe. That would be good for him. Obviously, I would be very happy for him. And yeah, finally for Sauber, you got me. Yeah, let's see, making my return here now to league racing, basically, after I don't know how many seasons not racing. So yeah, looking forward to that, but I don't think it's going to be a good season for me. And yeah, and the reserves, we got Matty Meister, Florian Foley, Tanya Hatsuse, and Luca then for the reserves for now. So let's see if one of those will make their debut along the way. I think they will. We see them every couple of races, I'm pretty sure. And fun fact, with Florian and Tanya and me, we got 3 Germans here. And I think Infinity 2000 is also German, if I'm correct. He has a German flag in the game at least.
Yeah, he's German. I've just got the spreadsheet up, and the top 3 in the tier are Armiranda, he was fastest. Then it's Hapolito, then it's Kvitvic, and then it's Callum. So yeah, so I was right in saying Callum was 4th, but I thought Kvitvic was fastest, but no, it's Hapolito and then and then Kvitvik in second. So second and third.
Yeah, if Callum and Amaranda then would be on the same team, I think we would have the Titanic battle for the constructors then. But they are not. So let's see. Ferrari seems to have the upper hand heading into the season. And yeah, the drivers is going to be very interesting. I think the Ferrari have at least the advantage with being on the same team, but at the same time it could hinder them a little bit since they are at the same team, so they maybe don't have anyone to help them. Not like our Miranda then with Riley or Callum with Infinity. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, good. You got anything left to say for our tier 2 here then?
I will say something about it overall because of course we're now back to a multi-tiered league, so that of course means the grand return of the combined constructors, which if you guys don't know takes the points that all 4 drivers in the team accumulate across the season, and whoever gets the most points becomes combined constructors champions. And the reason why that's crucial is because it rewards teams that work together across tiers. So that's why I particularly are very happy to see that Ferrari have got a great tier 2 lineup, because of course that'll then help me in tier 1 with the combined constructors. Of course we've got but you've then got vastly different lineups in across the tiers, such as Alpine. You've got a very strong one in tier 1 but not so strong in tier 2. So it'd be as for strongest over the 2 tiers, that's really tough, because it's so there's so much, there's so many variables to this.
So many unpredictable teams basically. With a lot of newcomers. It's very tough.
Maybe Ferrari, the one hindrance, especially on times, is GA Holly, but to be fair, it's just time trials. It's not exactly. Did Haas have in tier 2? Haas may be quite strong because they've got Tharlo and Hitman in tier 1 and Bush and Lenku in tier 2. Actually, no, the tier 2 one kind of strays off a little bit. It's really difficult to decipher. Potentially Racing Bulls. The only outlier there would be Xavier, but again, they're just time trials. I'm not trying to slander anyone here. I'm just stating the facts as I have it. But of course, we'll have the only way we'll find out is by completing the season over the next 12 weeks. A little bit longer this time round, not because of the round number, but because of course we've got Christmas and New Year in between that. So there will be a 2-week break in between rounds 6 and 7 to accommodate those 2 holidays.
Yeah, and speaking of the season, I think we should take a look at it now, because we are off now this week to the first race of the season, which will take place at the Albert Park circuit in Australia. Of course, one of the old-time classics of F1 for the starting round of the season, but also here in GSR. I think we started off the season there at least a couple of times, alongside maybe Bahrain. But yeah, for season 15, we start off there again. And after that, we are heading to the Asian part of the season, with China, Bahrain, and Qatar all coming up behind each other, which will mark round 2, 3, and 4 of the season, with Qatar being, I don't think it's the debut of it, but I think we only had one season before where Qatar was on the calendar.
I don't remember Qatar being on the grid. It might have been when I wasn't here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was when it first was introduced into the game. I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
But anyway, we haven't done many league races there in the past, so yeah, very excited for that. I think this is one of the big outliners of the first part of the season, because not many races there before, so yeah, really much looking forward to it. And yeah, after that we head off to the European part of the season, starting off in Austria, round 5, then heading on to Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps, obviously one of the most famous track on the calendar.
Yep.
And Britain then being the last race before Christmas, so Silverstone then the final race for the Christmas break, round 7. Then after Christmas we continue in Italy, Monza, also one of the most famous corners on the track, can't miss that. And yeah, that completes also the European part of the season, and then we head off into the final 4 races, starting off in COTA, so Texas being the USA race for GSR Season 15. Mexico then also making his return to the GSR calendar, infamous track for GSR. And the history of GSR. If you look it back at any of the races we had at Mexico, it's always a banger for some reasons. Maybe title deciding races or just a general overall an epic race. Mexico, very, very rich in GSR history. And yeah, then we quickly do a return to Asia for Suzuka, Japan being round 11 of the calendar, and then we head back on to South America for the final race of the season in Brazil, Interlagos. Obviously also very famous track in GSR history for the title finale. And yeah, that marks the 12th race of the season, which will complete then on February 4 for Tier 1 and February 6 for Tier 2. 8, your thoughts on the calendar? I think it's really nice.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the calendar as well. I do apologise, viewers. Earlier, I might have led you to believe that Bahrain was the second round, but no, I can assure you it is Shanghai.
There we have it then, the calendar for GSR Season 15. I think it's one of the best calendars we had so far. It is exactly right for the length it is. 12 races is very good in my opinion. We got a good amount of classic tracks, like classic in the overall F1 community. We got some decent classic tracks in form of GSR classic tracks, in form of Brazil, Mexico, China I would count in as well maybe. And then we also got, we just got Qatar now as the newcomer in there, but if you consider the fact that we only got 12 races, I think one special race I would say in form of Qatar is also very good. So yeah, I think very good calendar that we created there.
Yeah, without a doubt, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the drivers adapt to that. A very different calendar to last season, but we've also got a lot of new drivers. So and judging by that, none of them have left yet. It must be they must be a fan of the of that calendar with some cracking tracks on there, and I'm personally very happy with the calendar we've got this season.
Yeah, and speaking of some cracking tracks, let's dive into our first round then, as we talked about Australia. Looking now at the week ahead of us. Round 1 is just a couple of days now away, starting on Wednesday with Tier 1, and on Friday then the return of Tier 2. Let's look at Albert Park. I mean, that is, I already said it, it's a fantastic way to open the season for me. It's like this technical street circuit, but at the same time it's not. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a street circuit. It got some very sharp corners, some hard braking zones. The walls are right there to the drivers, but at the same time it's so fast. It kind of reminds me of Jeddah. Just Jeddah is obviously a little bit faster, even more. Albert Park got those very tight corners, heartbreaking zones, and yeah, but it's such a good way to start the season.
Yeah, I completely agree, and of course it was reprofiled in 2022, making that section between 8 and 9 so much quicker now, and they also reprofiled a couple more of the corners, such as turn 1, turn 3, turn 6, turn 8 and 9, as I mentioned, and turn 13 as well. So now that is now a. No, sorry. It is turn 13. It's now a right-hander with a very nasty curb on the inside, catching the drivers out. But if you get it right, it is an absolutely awesome track. It's one of my personal favorites now because it is so flowing. It's so good for racing now. And to be fair, I don't see it it knocked off the start of the calendar for a very long time because it is such a good way to start the season.
Yeah, I gotta say I was a fan before the reprofiling of the track as well. I don't know. I like the atmosphere at Australia. I like the design and like the climate as well in Australia there, because for me it just feels like the start of the F1 season. And I was so sad to see it drop off the calendar during COVID, of course, and even after that, where we had Bahrain as the season opener in real life. I was so sad to see it gone and not being the season opener, because, like I said, when I started watching Formula 1, Australia was the season opener, so that might be also a little bit biased there for me. But like I said, I just like the atmosphere. When I watch any video of F1 at Albert Park, it just feels like the beginning of something, and I really love that we have it here again as the start of the season. And at the same time, it is not an easy track, we have to say. Oh. It is very fast. It got some very technical corners where you can make one mistake and you're basically off into the barriers and your race is over. Turn 1 and 2 obviously come to mind there immediately, but also there on the back straight, I don't know, the fast left-right combination, not sure which corner numbers those are.
11 and 12.
11 and 12, yeah, also those two. A beautiful corner, I gotta say. Beautiful to watch the cars go through there, but at the same time it is tricky, and one mistake will either cost you a lot of time and you might have to come into the pits to repair stuff, or in worst case your race is over immediately. Last year we saw Speed Demon taking the first pole of the season with a 1 minute 15.2, so yeah, gonna be interesting to see if somebody will beat that time as well. And yeah, we had a race time for just under 40 minutes, 39 minutes and 16 seconds from Lazar. Yeah, indeed. Lazar, who took the win ahead of Vapor, only 3 seconds behind. Yeah, so very, very great race to start the season last year. But that obviously all happened in the dry. And in Melbourne, dry races are not guaranteed. We can definitely see some rain happening. And yeah, then it's just chaos. I gotta say, then it's just blatant chaos in Australia. And then the winner is the driver who just can't bring the car home in one piece, basically.
Yeah, I don't mind the rain. Granted, the first few laps I have to get used to the conditions, but then after that, they usually produce some pretty good races. We don't usually see rain in Australia, but again, it's how the game codes it.
Yeah. I mean, but I just wanted to say that it's not unrealistic, like in Bahrain or Abu Dhabi or stuff like that. It is, the chances are there for rain in Australia. I remember my very first league race. It wasn't a GSR, it was in another league where we did 100% races and all of the tracks in the season. I think it was back on F1 2018 or stuff like that. My very first league race, Australia, 100% rain, but not enough rain for intermediates. That was the most stressful race I've ever did, I guess. But yeah, so and I just want to point out something like this can happen again in Australia. I don't expect any rain because it's not very likely, but we might see it. And if we see rain, I reckon that's gonna be a lot of chaos. But also speaking of the weather, if there's no rain, then tire management will be very crucial at Australia. We saw that already now in season 14. We saw a lot of drivers getting used to the new tire degradation system in F125, where basically you can forget the soft tires. Those won't last 3 laps. Yeah, so we're probably gonna see a mix of medium and hard tires, and I guess then we're gonna see mostly 1-stops. I guess a couple of drivers will go for the softs maybe, but if they can do a 1-stop, it's gonna be the question. They might have to do a 2-stop, so they might go for soft, medium, or something like this. And yeah, also safety cars. They are not unlikely. So if they come out, they can screw the whole race and gonna mix everything up. So and then strategies won't matter that much anymore. But yeah, maybe stuff like this happens. So it's gonna be a very interesting start of the season. I think we're gonna see some very passive tire strategies, or what do you call it?
Well, it's very conservative.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my prediction at least.
Yeah. Thing is, Australia's an interesting one because I personally haven't done a league race around there yet, so this is going to be interesting. But the tire strategy is an interesting one because, well, it's either can you make the 1-stop or do you want to do the 2-stop, and is the 2-stop quicker? Because that's what we saw at the finale in Brazil last season, where myself and Jimbo, he started on, and we both went for the 1-stop, whereas the top guys went for the 2-stop, and they actually passed us within a few laps. So that is going to be interesting to see which strategy the drivers go for.
Yeah, definitely. That's something we should keep an eye out for the first race of the season then. And speaking not of the strategy now, but let's talk about what the drivers can make, maybe for a difference. What difference the drivers can make. Because we already said it when we were talking about the lineups for the teams. The driver situation is very interesting, especially going into turn 1. We can't talk that much about tier 2 because, like we already said, there are a lot of things that we just basically don't know yet. But looking at it in tier 1, yeah, we got, of course, the reigning champion Vapor. Always someone you have to count in, even if he's starting from last place, like you already said. He's gonna be, if he's really gonna start from last place, he will be putting on a show at least. So that's for sure. Yeah, but then we also got the likes of Alfie, Laza, and Thalo, for example. Those 3, they have been very quick last season. And especially Laza, he will have a shot. He really wanted to have a shot at the title this year. Was a little bit unlucky last year. Had a good, decent chance. But in the end, it wasn't enough. Vapor snatched the title. So yeah, I guess he wants to have revenge from last season. And I feel this could be something, not that I really want to make the same connection here, but Nico Rosberg in 2016 obviously also had a lot of anger in himself when he lost the title in 2015 and used that anger basically to start a show at the beginning of 2016. And maybe we see something from Laza as well there.
Potentially, but Laza's going to be in a similar position Jake in that because they've got exams coming up, I don't think they're going to really be practicing too much for the races. So they're basically going to be going into it blind. So yeah, so I'm very interested to see how that goes because they're both very quick learners. So I expect maybe their qualifying to not be great, but expect them to be pretty quick in the race.
Yeah, I mean, both of those drivers were having a chance at the title because they were consistent, basically. Oh, they were also quick, obviously, but they were very consistent. Just a little reminder, Lazar won the Grand Prix last year, so he knows how to win here. So that might be something that speaks for him. Vapor got second place, and it was very close between the two of them. So yeah, I think both have pretty decent chances. But then yeah, Thalo also, he joined in the middle of last season, basically. He already took 2 or 3 wins as well, so yep. He definitely proved that he is quick enough to run races. He wasn't there in Australia last season, so yeah, who knows what he can do. And yeah, Alfie also joined in later. He was also quick and I think got a win or 2 maybe as well. So yeah, we already got those 4 drivers that you could definitely count into the win for Australia here. And then you got all those drivers who are having their debuts here. And yeah, that's gonna be the big question now. How quick will those guys be? And yeah, stuff like this. Like we can't really predict yet. Do you wanna speak about tier 2 as well for the race?
We could do as you said, tier 2 is a bit more of a question mark because
yeah,
we
exactly.
don't really know what their pace is gonna be. Of course, we've got some idea with the likes of Pavel, Infinity, Callum, Witvik.
Yeah, all those experienced guys from last season, basically.
Ade, I've got a good idea, but of course that's him on wheel. That's not him on ad. So that'll be interesting. But of course we have a lot of new drivers in tier 2 this season,
especially Hapalito and Amaranda, then who have been the quickest in the signups, then at least for tier 2. So
yeah,
I think. So I think I can't really tell. I think both races will be very interesting to watch, and yeah, we gotta see then how this will turn out to make some predictions for the rest of the season. Yeah, but maybe speaking of predictions, if you would say if you pick one driver who is going to win tier 1 and one driver who's going to win tier 2 this week, so the Australian Grand Prix, who would it be?
Well, I mean, the first is kind of obvious. Probably Jake, either Jake or Alfie in tier 1, and then I'm hoping either Hapalito or Witvik, but don't count out Callum as well in that fight, and of course Amaranda.
Okay. Then I would not do the same, just because for the sake of not doing the same. For tier 2, I would, but I would have gone with it eventually anyway. I would say Lazar is going to take the win. He won last season, so that might be enough for him to beat Vapor again. Also considering that Vapor might be starting from the back of the grid, so I think this difference could make the difference in the end. So I'd say either Lazar or Thalo. I wouldn't count Thalo out as well. I guess he could challenge for the win as well. And yeah, for tier 2, it's very difficult. Yeah, I would say Amaranda maybe, or maybe Pavel as well. Those are my two guesses then for that. Yeah. All right, and I think 8. With that, we just basically covered everything that you need to know now, guys, for the first week of the season. Melbourne, then Australia, the first Grand Prix. I think that's it, and yeah, we are good to go now. Thanks, Ade, for joining me here today for the first episode of the GSR preview podcast. Anything? Not sure about the name yet. And yeah, all right. Maybe we see us then again at the end of the week. Maybe. I'm thinking about it. If we have something like a review part of that as well. Yeah, but anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. That's all from us here from the season opener preview podcast thingy. And yeah, don't forget then, we start on Wednesday then with Tier 1 and on Friday with Tier 2, both at 6 p.m. British time.
7 p.m. British time.
Wait. 7 p.m. British time. Sorry, I guess I got confused there. Yeah, but anyway, so follow our Twitch channel. Will be linked in the description, so you won't miss the race when it's going live. And you also can subscribe to the YouTube channel, and the races will be uploaded here as well, just like the majority of the races last season. So if you haven't watched any of the races from GSR season 14, you can watch them back there. And yeah, until then, I'm Soren. On my side was Ade. Thank you all for tuning in, and see you guys then on Wednesday, on Friday, or maybe next week again for the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.